My name is David North-Martino. Call me Dave. And my story is called the Interloper, and it's kind of a dark science fiction story. Here we go. Why are you back so soon? Jared asked me as he fidgeted with his experiment. He played with dials and pressed at flashing lights. I stood in the messy laboratory with my hands crossed and my eyes downcast. I still felt so numb. Why aren't I home mourning? Is that what you're asking me? It's a natural process, Jared said. He stopped what he was doing and looked at me. I couldn't meet his gaze. You mustn't blame yourself. I was driving the car, Doc. I said, feeling the anger welling up. I didn't want to talk about this. Jared Brandon had multiple PhDs to my one, but a psychologist he wasn't. Anyway, I don't want to sit at home. I need to keep busy. And I think I have a lot to do. Then, can I ask why you're in my laboratory instead of in your own? Because I have something that I need to do, but I don't know how to do it. You're the one with the expertise. I was having a hard time containing myself. I wanted to get straight to the point, but didn't want to scare him too quickly. He wasn't going to like what I was going to ask him. What are you thinking of doing, Carl? He said. Rumor has it... sorry. Oh, I think something's messed up here. What do you think you're doing, Carl? Rumor has it that the government commissioned you to conduct some time travel experiments. It's impossible, Carl, he said gently. We were never able to go backwards in time. Even if we could, I wouldn't advise it. Some things are better left the way they are. I don't want to go back. I want to go forward. Forward? That doesn't make any sense. And even if it did, you can't stay on the same timeline. You'll end up in a parallel dimension. That's exactly where I want to go. A parallel dimension. In the future. Why? In this world, Cheryl died. But in another dimension, I made a different decision. I came out of that skid, and she survived. I watched him as his mind took it in. His face slackened. He knew I was right. Yes, dimensional theory states that every time a decision is made, alternate realities are created, and the other possible decisions are played out in these other dimensions. But it's just a theory. I could tell by his expression that he knew more than he was letting on. I finally found the courage to meet his eyes, and then stared at him until he averted my gaze. Okay, he said, stammering. I'll tell you the truth, but this is highly confidential. We sent two military men into another dimension, but we were unable to recover them. One moment they were here, the next they had vanished. If they survived, they're living life in some other dimension. That's only if they survived. The military finally couldn't see an application for sending people into a different timeline, especially when we couldn't get them back. They didn't feel it had any real-world uses for war. So they took the funding from their $500 screws and $900 hammers and ended the project. But you could do it. You could send me into that other timeline. I felt hope as I said it, and I had thought all hope was lost. It is doubtful that you'll survive the journey, and even if you did, you'd have to stay there with her. She's dead in this world, Carl. And you haven't thought of the most important obstacle. What's that, Doc? There's another you out there, and he's in love with your wife, too.